Hello everybody. I promised I would show how I alter these composition books, and really when you see how I do it you're going to say, oh, that's so silly to do a tutorial on that, but maybe there's some tips I can give you that you wouldn't have thought of if you were doing them for yourself. So here's just a few examples of ones I've done to take to craft fairs. So you can see I covered the front and the back, and some I leave the inside blank because I get a lot of little girls that are elementary school, middle school age that buy these, and so I've left some blank on the inside or some plain on the inside just like they were, and then I've covered others. So I kind of have a mix of them. And actually I may go back and cover these insides because of a vendor event I'm going to that's like a ladies night, and it's a little more upscale, and I think that I will probably go back and do some more to these. And here's another one. This one now I did some die cutting, and I have this cutout from the paper pack and some stickers, and I covered the spine and I put a ribbon in it so that you can have a ribbon closure for it. Let's see where the ribbon goes here. So the ribbon closure can be used, and also there's a pocket in the front and some little bling there, and the back I've covered. So this is more like what I'll do for the vendor event that's a little more upscale. It's like a ladies night out. And these without the insides covered, this is more what I took to a farmer's market I did, because the highest I can charge for these at a farmer's market is about $3, but when I get to the upscale vendor event I can charge a little more. The booth fees are more expensive, that kind of thing. So let me show you what the cost ends up being. Right now I'm finding these composition books for about 88 cents a piece. I know as school time comes around I can stock up on these cheaper, but right now they're 88 cents a piece. The paper that I'm using today is from a paper pack. Let me show you. I've got the papers already taken out, but this I found at Tuesday Morning. It's called Glitter Girl, and it's a project pad. So it has a lot of cutout cards and different things and alphabets and things like that. So it's $6.99 and there are 33 sheets. So when you do the math, where's my little sticky? The paper I'm using today, I rounded up to 90 cents because I am doing one of the little cutout cards, and I'll probably use some stickers from in here. So about 90 cents for paper. Adhesive, other things I'm going to put on it. I may put some bling, that kind of thing. I put a nickel. It might be more, 2 or 3 cents. So you can see I have about $1.83 in this. What I can charge at farmers markets is about $3. What I can charge at the nicer places a little bit more, probably about $5. Let me flip through this paper pack first, and I'll show it to you really quickly. What I haven't taken out. So there's stickers, and there's shiny letters, and see, there's unicorns. I mean, it's really cute. And if I can find, and these strips come in handy when you're doing these kinds of things too. If I can find this somewhere other than Tuesday Morning, I will link it below. Oh, I love this glitter paper. It has to. But if not, that's where I found it Tuesday Morning. And they had a lot of them. So you may be able to get back there and get yourself one. And then it had all these solid pieces, which are heavier. They feel more like an 80 pound, and the rest of the paper felt like about a 65 maybe weight. Okay, that's what's left in here. I've already used some of it, and I'm going to use some of it today. So I pulled the pages out that I'm going to be using. Put these to the side. And I cut the strips off at the top. This is one of the things I don't like, these types of pads, and I prefer paper that you can get from like Close to My Heart and Fun Stamper's Journey and even Stamping Up, is because the strips at the top, they have these little holes in them so they can hang up at the store, which is kind of a, bummer, because these strips are nice to use. Anyway, I cut the strips off the papers I'm going to be using, and you can see I picked out a polka dot for the back, a stripe for the front, and then I have the Cat in the Craft Room's in here. She just knocked a block over, I guess, to annoy me. And then I have these 2 pink pieces for the inside. And then this sheet right here was a sheet of cards, and I just cut this "Today is the best day ever" out. I'm going to use that for sure. Let's put that aside. Okay, so let's get started here. We're going to start with putting our double-sided tape. So you're gonna need double-sided tape. This is a little wider one. I have extra rolls to grab if I run out of this one. And some kind of liquid glue. I use both of these. I use big scissors for kind of the rough cut around. And then I've got more detailed scissors, especially to go around the edges and if I need to get real close in. And I have a brayer that I find that's really helpful to use. Okay? All right, let's get started. So we're just going to get right, I'm not wrapping the edge on this one, the spine. So what you want to do is just get this right up to that edge because that's where I want my paper to go. And then we're going to snip it right there. And again, get as close to the edge as possible because you don't want your paper peeling up on someone after they purchase this, or if you give it as a gift, you still don't want that to happen. Or I have one I use myself too, that I keep notes on each vendor event, what my inventory was, what sold, what didn't sell, that kind of thing. I should also be keeping an inventory of what things I purchase when I'm there that cut into my profits. That would be a good idea. Actually, I don't purchase much. I think the first time I went to this local farmer's market, I had to have some honey, of course. And there's the ladies with the baked goods that I try to resist. That kind of thing. Okay, just going to do that right there. And like I said, try to get them as close in so you're not leaving gaps, though you are going to use some liquid glue to kind of fill in. And then I usually take a piece and go all the way, go all the way up here. Try not to put any wrinkles in your tape because that might show through. And then I'm going to cut this at a slant here. Yep, I'm definitely going to need to pull one of my other rolls. That is one thing, since I've been making these, I've been going through a lot of adhesive. So that definitely, if you're going to resell these, please don't forget to include adhesive in the cost of making them because you're going to use a lot. Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and do the same to the back so I don't have to come back and do that. And I'm ready to roll. I'm just going to lay down all of our tape, I think. Oh, okay. Well, this one's done. Grab the next one. And I buy these adhesives in different sizes, different widths. So these I use when I do the little mini composition books. And then the bigger ones I will use when I do the bigger books. And this is something, if you find a good quality one, you know, always comparison shop because this is something you want to get as the least expensive that you can, as long as it's good quality. You don't want something that's not going to stick. But I will link below to where I buy them on Amazon, and I'll link to that below for you. Because this is something that's not going to show. So it doesn't matter, giving it as a gift, you're selling it, whatever. No one's going to see this tape underneath. So it's one of those things you want to save as much money on as you possibly can. Okay. I am going to speed through this process and get it all done and not make you watch it. So I'll be back in a minute. Okay, we're back and I have the adhesive down the way I want it. Not the liquid glue yet because I don't want to create a huge mess. On the inside, let me show you how I did this. So I did it right along even with the printed line here. And the reason that I did that and not all the way into the spine is because when you have paper that goes all the way in here, it can make it hard to open and close. It can kind of interfere with that. So I stop it right back here and leave this white right there. So, okay. First thing I'm going to do is, and I have this little tool that I like to use to just kind of burnish down, make sure I don't have any bubbles. There's a piece of fuzz on there. And then pick this up. And there we go. The cat in the craft room has decided to suddenly wake up. So if I may have to cut this video in a minute and remove her from the craft room. We will see how she does. She was asleep in the window, And I thought that was going to work out just fine, but yeah, she seems to have woken up and she's stretching, which might be a bad thing. You never know what she might decide to do here in a minute, especially since she doesn't know why I'm sitting here talking to myself. Oh, settle back down. Okay, I think that was false alarm. All right, so I've got all those up. I know you probably can't see where the adhesive is, but I can. And I'm going to take this liquid glue and I'm going to come to these corners. There's some spots in the corners where the where the adhesives just don't really meet. There we go. And so I'm going to make sure I've got all that area. And you don't want to just, you know, you don't want to saturate this, but you do want to make sure that if there's corners that you weren't able to cover with the tape, that you get in those corners and make sure down here, make sure they're all covered. You don't need a lot of this. Let's see. No, that corner looks good. But you don't want your paper to pop up in the corners. That's what we don't want. Now let's see. Do I want this stripe to go this way? Or do I want it to go this way? I think I like it this way. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this and we're going to put it right up against there. I'm going to leave a little overhang at the top and the bottom. This is where the brayer comes in handy. Just going to kind of brayer it down. Now there are some people that use Mod Podge to put these on and then they put another coat on the top, and I think that's a great way to go if you want something that's going to last a long time. I always figure you're going to run out of pages in these notebooks before anything would be popping off of them if I do it this way. So, but you do what you like, and if that's something you want to do, there are a lot of demos out there on how to do that with the Mod Podge. Okay, then what I do is I open this up and I'm going to do a rough cut all the way around. Okay, so you know, I will get as close as I can, but I'm going to come back and kind of make it smoother and go around the edges. Okay. But with this piece, now I've already budgeted, yes, that I spent the money on so many pieces of paper. But if you look, I have this left over. I could turn it into a pocket on the inside, or I could save it for a card, another thing I'm making. Okay, so we're going to take these little scissors. I'm going to just come back up and make sure there's nothing we don't want to trim. Now, another tip with these is do not tip your scissors like this when you're trimming inward, because what happens is you'll end up exposing the book, because you'll cut into the paper that's covering the top. Okay. I'm not getting, for some reason I'm having trouble here. Probably because I'm doing it on camera and this is a weird angle that I'm holding it. Normally I wouldn't hold it quite like this, but I want you to be able to see. And go all the way up to the corner and then just kind of turn your corner with it. And try to get, like I said, as close as you can without cutting at a tilt to where you're taking paper off the front cover and exposing this and exposing the cover of the comp book. And you can always come back. Okay, see, I see I've got like a little piece that's sticking out too far. I can come back and go over that, just like that. And I will, before I put this one for sale, of course, I will look at it more closely. My eyes are not great, so doing this on camera, it's a little farther away from my face than I would like it. Try to make your cuts as smooth as possible so you're not getting any rough edges also. And that kind of depends on the quality of your scissors. If you're using nice paper crafting scissors, it shouldn't be a problem. But I know some people will use regular scissors. Okay, so see, I've got now these, I know it doesn't look like they're rounded edges, and so I may go back and do that a little bit more. But the problem is these comp books really don't have rounded edges. And if you cut into them to try to make them rounded, what's going to happen is then you're going to see the paper underneath. Do that just a little bit nicer. You'll see the lined paper underneath. You'll have cut into the cover and it will no longer be covering that paper, and you don't want that. Okay, so here's what we have. I'm going to go ahead and cover my other areas, and I'll come back and we'll finish the decorating. Okay, so I have my front, both of my insides, and my back covered. You will notice that I put some sticky strip down here. At the bottom I went ahead and used this 1/2 inch I've been using, but on the sides I put a 1/4 inch. Where did the 1/4 inch roll go? Here it is. I put 1/4 inch because I'm going to put a pocket down. And I think that that'll give more room for it to open than if I did the wider one. Now, as I do this pocket, I'm going to try to line it when I put it down. I'm going to try to line it right up here so I don't have to do any trimming at the bottom because I've already got 2 layers I've trimmed. I don't want this to be too bulky and too many times I can get over the edge or cut into the piece. Okay, so let's take our handy dandy bloom tool here, and I'll try to link to as many things as I'm using below. Most everything I should be able to find. This paper I'm not as sure about, but really any paper will do. And actually, as I was using this paper, I realized that this solid print, this solid paper that they have in the pack, it is a white core paper. Now, that's not a big deal. I don't really care for white core unless I want a certain effect when I'm dry embossing, you know, with the raised things. Anyway, because as you're cutting into them sometimes, you can, now you see I've got a little, I don't know if you can see, but I have a little white here. That's because this white core, if you get off just slightly off of, you know, the line that you're trimming, you're going to see that white core. Okay, so let's get this as close to this bottom as we can and as close to here. Okay, it's pretty good. Just gonna put this down. And of course I only covered 3 sides. Don't do the top or you won't have a pocket. You'll just have a cute decoration. I'm sure you figured that out without me saying that though. Okay, so we're just gonna trim around this side. As close to there as we can get. Here we go. And then we've got a cute little pocket here. They can stick flat things. They're not going to stick a bunch in there, but just a flat. I'm not going to take time to make a gusseted pocket for something like this. Okay, I have this. Today is the best day ever. You know what I think might be cute? Let's see how that would look. If I put kind of a frame around this. That's kind of cute. Let me see. Do I have any of the... Let's see with the lighter paper if that might be cuter. On here. I think that is. I like the lighter paper better. Okay, so we are going to, I'm just going to put it on here, glue it down, and then cut around it. I'm not going to get real precise. I'm just going to trim around it, eyeball it. So let's put this down. Just a little bit. I don't want a huge border, but I think a little border would be cute. Take my scissors. Kind of, that's about 1/8 of an inch. See how straight I can cut while I'm showing this to you. Wow, that's not cut straight. Okay. Maybe that's the effect we were going for, right? Having this cute little wonky piece. Yes, that's what I'm going to say. I think I hand cut it out of there and I was probably planning on trimming it, but I never did. Okay, so we're going to put that down there. And then I have this sticker sheet in here that I think we're going to pull a few things. I really like this. So let's see. And I really like the birds. The other thing is if you're going to sell these, you probably want to worry about how long your time is to make them. How many can you crank out in a certain amount of time? So let's just put this bicycle down here. Oh, let's get it flat. There you go. You don't want any bumps in it, bubbles. And then let's take a few of these birds that are so adorable. Okay, well, come on, birdies. Get a grip on it. Go. Okay, so this is going to set about right there. Let's adhere this first because I think I want to put the birdie sticking down on one corner. So put that right there. That looks cute. And then I think I'm going to put this bird right there. And then maybe another bird over here. Let's see, I've got this red one too. Yep, this bird will go right there. Okay, and I think it turned out cute, and I think this, any little girl would be happy to have this. Actually, there are probably a lot of adult women that would like having this. When I do these for myself, I section them off for what I want to do, like ideas, brain dump, that kind of thing, and I make little tabs for the sides, and that's another thing you can do to make these just cute and personalize them for yourself. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you take some time and make one for yourself. Happy crafting, everybody.